Self-published author Tshidi Monkoe pours her heart out in a book she titled Prison Love. In this book, Tshidi gives the reader a detailed account of her tumultuous journey of what transpired when she fell in love with a man who was incarcerated. And to tell us more about this book, she says that she wrote to squash the misconception society has about women who get into such relationships. And she joins us now via Zoom. Tshidi, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Simpiwe. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, Tshidi. And I've mentioned in the intro that why you wrote this book, but just elaborate more on what this book is all about.
Okay, Prison Love is a book about a journey that I took on the road less traveled when I fell in love with a man who was incarcerated. This happened a few months after I left my husband, who was very abusive emotionally, financially, and physically.
Okay. Now, take us through how this relationship began with your prison lover. I mean, what pushed you into looking for love in prison?
You know what? I didn't go looking for it at all. In fact, I had just started a new job at a new company. And whenever one of my colleagues was not at her desk, I would pick up her phone from my desk. So one day I answered her phone, and the man on the other side of the line introduced himself as my colleague's brother. And, he picked up that I didn't speak the language spoken in Pretoria. Therefore, he was very curious to know who I was, where I was from. And I explained to him that I was planning to relocate from Vosloorus to Pretoria in the following year. He then mentioned that he used to be in the business of selling property and offered to help me find a place to stay. You know, I was relieved as I didn't know where to start. Then he started phoning me on a daily basis. Now he was phoning me directly on my line. And you know what? He was my breath of fresh air, because every morning I would look forward to our 5 minutes, 10 minutes conversations. You know, he was a gentleman. He was very intelligent, very polite, very humble, and very considerate and helpful. He would ask how I slept, what I ate, and all those things. So he was very interested in me, in finding out how I was doing and how my daughter was doing. So it was only after 8 weeks of speaking to him on the phone that I asked when he was going to come and visit us at my place of work, because I knew nothing about him. I didn't even know what he looked like. I didn't even know what he did for a living, you know. And that is when he divulged that he's in prison. Yeah.
Hey, Wana, just like that, Nje, from a colleague's phone.
Yes. Yeah, he said, you know what? Yeah, he said, I won't be able to come and see you because I'm in prison. I then said, oh, okay, if that's the case, then I'll come and see you. I don't know why I was so brave to even say that. And he was shocked because he thought I would judge. But now there was no way I could judge him, because he was still the same person that I was speaking to for 8 weeks. You know, his location couldn't change how I viewed him, because now he's still the same kind, considerate person that I've been speaking to, who was helping me find a place to stay, my breath of fresh air, you know. And fortunately, that same weekend, his sister was coming to visit him on a Sunday. Then we arranged that I will come along with the sister.
Yeah, and I quite like what you say, that the location should not cloud how you view that person. And, it suffices to mention that it actually underscores that you find love in the most weirdest of places. So the relationship eventually escalates into becoming what you say was a prison love affair, isn't it? Do share with us what that experience of being in a relationship with someone who is incarcerated was like.
Wow, it was wonderful. Simpiwe, you know what? I experienced love in a way that I had never experienced it before, from men who were free. Not even my ex-husband treated me the way my prison lover treated me. You know, I received roses for the first time from my prison lover. I mean, he would arrange with florists for me to get roses delivered to my place of work. I received chocolates. He would send his relatives with gifts and ask them to take me out for dinners on my birthday, Valentine's Day. So he treated me like a queen, like an egg. I was, his princess. He was also my king. I was his ride or die. I was there giving him support. We tried to make the relationship as normal as possible. He even went down on his knees while he was in prison.
Wow.
And and asked for my hand in marriage. He was very consistent. The promises that he made to me on a daily basis, were backed up by actions. He was very consistent. He, every single day, he just continued ticking the right boxes. He was so great. He was very good to me. And, I waited for him for 4 years. Because of that, even on the day we first met, he grabbed my hand and he kissed the same hand which was banged against the wall by my ex-husband. He lifted me up when I went to visit him, after giving me a tight hug. The last time my body was lifted up was by my ex-husband when he was banging it against the wall.
Sure.
So, but now I was receiving a complete opposite from a man in orange uniform, from a man behind bars. And, I was getting treatment that I never received from a man before. He was very loving. And then, when he came out, I expected that we would continue, the way we've been living our lives. I thought we would have a meaningful relationship. I was looking forward to seeing him in action outside of prison. However, life inside of prison is different to life outside of prison. Things changed. It was the beginning of the end.
Tshidi, when you say that the kind of love that he showed you, you've never experienced from men that are free and out and about. That is so deep. It really, really struck a chord. And this love affair, Tshidi, continued even after he was released from prison. And that is when you say that it started to change, yeah? Tell us more about that.
Yes. Yes, when he came out of prison, because what we forget is that when a person gets arrested, on the day that they're arrested, their life stops on that day. If he's arrested in 2009 in November, his life stops. When he comes out, in his mind, it's still 2009 November. But now I'm in 2018, he's in 2009. And then when he comes out, the people who were inferior to him are now superior. The people who were driving taxis are now, chasing tenders, they're tenderpreneurs. And then now he's just an ex-offender. And now he feels pressure to catch up with his peers, right? And now I'm this woman, his fiancé, who's, constantly reminding him that, no, remember, you were in prison for 8.5 years. And then those people, whatever it is that they achieved, they didn't do it. They didn't achieve those things overnight. They worked hard. So take things one step at a time. You will eventually get to where you want to, But now, whenever I would try to do that, he now thought I was now trying to put him into another prison when he's supposed to be free. Now, he's viewing me as this person who's trying to be a mother or a prison official, putting him into another cage. Okay. And he didn't want to be caged. So he wanted to free himself. And while he's trying to break loose, he now finds other women who are entertaining him, his ex-girlfriends, women he knew from his past. He starts chasing women. He starts chasing money. So that's what happened. And we grew apart.
Okay, all right. And based on your experience with prison love, what advice would you have or would you give to individuals that may find themselves in your shoes and are in relationships with men who are in prison?
Okay, firstly, my advice to those women is that you need to fix yourself before you get into a relationship, because we go into relationships with men who are incarcerated because we are wounded. No one wakes up and decides to go shopping in prison. You do so because now you have a very empty cup, and now you are looking for someone to fill that cup for you because you are too broken to fill your own cup. So what's important is for you to fix yourself before you get into a relationship, and then you need to understand what you are getting yourself into, because I will never discourage prison relationships, because just because my prison relationship didn't have a happy ending, it doesn't mean all of them won't have a happy ending. However, you need to get into it with your eyes wide open, because not every prisoner has good intentions. In fact, very few of them have good intentions. Most of them prey on unsuspecting women. Prisoners are very intelligent and calculating. They can smell a vulnerable woman from a distance. So be careful, because the last thing you want is to be a victim to those men who prey on unsuspecting women. So understand what is it that you are getting yourself into. But now the most important thing is for you to fix yourself, because a prisoner will treat you like you are the only woman on planet Earth. And then while you are looking for love, you could be falling into a trap. I'm not saying that's what happened to me. I'm just saying women need to understand what they are getting themselves into. Even those who are not getting into relationships with prisoners, they still need to fix themselves. Yeah.
Tshidi Monkoe, great chatting to you, man. Thank you so much for sharing such a beautiful story. It might not have turned out the way that you wanted to, but I actually love this love story. It's so awe-inspiring and really, really inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Simpiwe.
All right. Great stuff. Wow. Beautiful, isn't it?